If you want to achieve something hard, becoming a doctor, losing weight, learning a new language, you have to adopt this mindset. You have to be willing to do it slowly. Not perfectly, not overnight, slowly. Most people will fail at doing hard things, not because they're incapable, because they're in a rush. I'm not special or superhuman. I just decided I was okay with going the slow and steady route in achieving my goals. My name is Nisha, and I am a primary care doctor. I became a physician at the age of 26, and it took me over 11 years of schooling and training to get to where I am today. Also, in my practice as a doctor, I see that this mindset forms the foundation for preventive care. And I believe preventive care is the most powerful tool in managing and preventing all chronic illnesses. And I wish I had the time to throw this spiel into all of my very short 20-minute patient encounters. So I'm telling you here instead, free of charge. In this video, I'm going to explain why the typical approach to these difficult tasks is a problem, reasons why this mindset shift works, common things that will sabotage your success, and finally, 3 actionable steps you can do today to start retraining your mind. So why is this a problem? If you want to learn a new language, train for a marathon, or achieve significant weight loss, all of these things are absolutely achievable. The problem lies in the way we approach them. Because the first thing we do is we hop onto Google or YouTube and we Google the thing that we want to do. And the first things that will pop up are things like lose 10 pounds in a week or become fluent in just 30 days. Unfortunately, these are the things that will get the most views because their transformations are so dramatic. But then reality hits. Because what you don't see in these videos is the mountain of fine-tuning, failures, and trial and error that person had to go through before they were even able to create this video. And in these videos, it's often not advertised that that person's body, genetics, schedule, and overall lifestyle are completely different from yours. There is no one on planet Earth who is exactly like you. So what works for them will not map perfectly onto what works for you. And that's completely normal. It's normal for meaningful achievements in life to take time. In fact, my favorite saying is that the best things in life take time. I say this to my patients, my friends, my family, anyone who will listen, and I love it so much, I in fact made it my YouTube banner. So I'm a doctor now, and that process took 11 years. If I wanted things to be quick and easy, I would not have made it past year 1. So no, you're probably not failing. You're just trying to live your life on 2 times speed. So it's time to slow down. Okay, so let's dive into why the slow mindset actually works. The first reason is that it gives you permission to do the work that difficult goals actually require. When you decide, I'm going to do this slowly, you stop expecting a 6-week miracle. You give yourself permission to show up imperfectly, repeat the same actions for months, years, or decades, and most importantly, fine-tune your process. You're not going to get it right the first time. There is no such thing as overnight success because what those stories fail to elucidate is the thousands of times that person has failed before they achieve the success. So take breaks, adjust, and keep going. During my medical training, I wasn't waking up every day expecting to be almost done. I knew I was going to be in this game for at least a decade. So this mindset prevented me from quitting when the process got hard and felt impossible. If you keep telling yourself, this should be done already, then you're just going to burn out and quit. If you tell yourself, this is supposed to take time, then you'll stay in the game long enough to actually win. The second reason is that it forces you to do fewer things. And that's a good thing. If you're trying to do 15 things that require your brain at once, honey, you don't have the bandwidth for that. If you're gonna do things gradually, then you simply cannot have 15 goals on your plate at once. And that is how real success works. While I was training to become a doctor, that was my main goal. I was not trying to be a fitness influencer with the 6-pack app or build a side hustle or self-optimize in every other area of my life. And it's not lost on me what I had to sacrifice to achieve this goal. I was missing a lot of normal things like birthdays, anniversaries, weddings. And some of you may argue that at a young age, you should explore different things. You should become more well rounded. And I do believe that there is value to that. However, whether or not you agree with my methodology, the truth of what made me a doctor at the age of 26 is that I focused all of my time and energy onto one big long-term goal. And that's why I got here. This slow mindset forces you to prioritize. If you're willing to take your time, then what is actually worth your time? Most of you are overwhelmed not because you're lazy, but because you're doing too many things at once. Slowness will demand focus. The third reason is that slowness reduces tension and frustration, and that opens up space for creativity and fulfillment. So when everything has to be fast, every setback can feel like a crisis. For example, if you missed a workout, you're gonna feel like, I ruined all my progress. Or if you miss studying for one day, you're gonna feel like you're constantly behind. You're putting your nervous system in this constant fight or flight mode. When you adopt the slow approach, you start telling yourself, this is supposed to take time, so I can breathe. That simple shift will lower your stress, make it easier to be consistent, and most importantly, opens up space for creativity and joy. And this last point means so much to me because I just finished my internal medicine residency this year, and now I can say that that was the hardest 3 years of my life so far. It was the first time I was living far from home, first time living apart from my husband. And on top of that, I was working these ridiculous hours with no time off. Within the first month, I was in this spiral of depression and I almost gave up. But then I realized my depression was fueled by me constantly looking for the finish line and being angry when I couldn't find it. And that's when I knew that this mindset was not sustainable. So I made a change. Instead of having this macroscopic view of when will residency be over, I forced myself to slow down, zoom in, and just focus on one thing every single day. And that one thing was to learn one thing new every day. I know, simple and elegant, right? But it absolutely worked because this took me out of the vicious cycle of constantly looking for the outcome and instead forced me to look at the process, the journey I was on. And not to mention, we often forget the simple joy of learning when we're rushing to do a million things at once. And the joy of learning is what had initially attracted me to medicine. Because those of you who are in the field will know there is no shortage of things you can learn every single day. And there's no such thing as a doctor or a surgeon or anyone in the field who knows everything in medicine. So with this mentality, you actually start to enjoy the process of the hard thing that you're doing, whether that's training, studying, cooking, because you're not punishing yourself for not being at the finish line yet. And ironically, that is what will make you stick with your goals long enough to see results. Okay, so now let's cover the things that will sabotage this mindset. So the first one is social media. Specifically the videos and reels that show these outrageous transformations and claims. Because unfortunately, that's what will get the most views and is the most common thing to show up in your algorithm. You get these dramatic before and afters, extreme timelines, and unrealistic promises. And if your brain is constantly bombarded by this type of content, then soon you're gonna start to believe that if your transformations are not this dramatic, then you're not doing it right. And that is simply not true. That is just how the algorithm works. Your real life is not a 15-second transformation reel. So the second thing that will sabotage you is scrolling. And yes, I know technically this is a type of social media, but I feel because of how damaging this can be to your success, it deserves its own spotlight. And the reason why this wreaks havoc is its ability to cause dopamine addiction, and it totally kills your attention span. So every time you scroll, Your brain gets a tiny hit of dopamine every few seconds when you scroll to a new video and you see a new face, a new color, a new background, a new joke. So when your brain gets used to this dopamine addiction, then when it's time to do something slow, like read, cook, study, train, and your brain says, this is boring, I hate this, where's my quick hit? And it's not that you're weak, it's that your dopamine system is now calibrated to get quick rewards within a couple seconds. And this makes sustained effort feel unbearable. So if you want to be able to tolerate a 5-year goal, then you need to retrain your brain away from expecting these 5-second rewards. And the third thing is AI. And before I continue, I just want to say, I'm sorry, ChatGPT. I'm sorry you have to find out this way. I really do love you, but there are some problems that I need to address. So AI gives us the illusion that everything should happen instantaneously. And it's not always a negative thing. So yes, AI can speed up busy work, help you brainstorm, and this frees up time for more meaningful activities. But there is a downside. So when AI can draft me an email in 5 seconds, we start to subconsciously expect everything. This means things like deep learning, physical transformation, complex skills, and healing to follow that same timeline. And they simply don't. Also, if you're doing work that requires precision and accuracy, these are things like in the field of medicine, law, engineering, things that are typically high risk. AI is still not perfect in that regard. For example, a couple of years ago, I was using AI to help me generate research articles to help me write a literature review. And thank God, I took the painstaking time to look through all of the articles that ChatGPT had pulled up under my topic, because lo and behold, there were 3 errors. 2 of them were links to articles that were absolutely not relevant to the topic I was researching, and then one of them was to a fake article that didn't even exist. So no, AI is still not perfect. You still need human eyes and slow, careful thinking to catch errors and make good judgments. AI can automate tasks, but it cannot shortcut your character development, your training, or your healing. So now let's go into the actionable steps that you can start doing today. So the first thing you can do is to pick a routine, mundane task that you do every single day and slow it down. For example, a common one is cooking. So next time you cook a meal, slow it down by focusing on your 5 senses. So what does it sound like when you put those onions on a hot skillet? And what does it smell like? It probably smells really freaking good. For whatever reason, sauteing onions and garlic makes everyone think that you're cooking the greatest meal on planet Earth. How do the veggies feel in your hand? What does it taste like? Probably amazing. Keep repeating to yourself, either in your head or out loud, this is supposed to be slow. When I was younger, I used to be so angry when it came to cooking because I was always in a rush to get back to studying because I was crazy about medicine. I didn't realize all the tension I was holding in my fists and in my neck when I was standing over the stove waiting for these veggies to start sauteing and being so angry that they were keeping me from my anatomy textbook. But when I started using this mindset and this practice, it relieved so much stress. It actually led to more productive study sessions later on in the day. And if you spill something or burn something in the process of cooking, and you're doing it with the slow mentality, you're so much less likely to get angry and frustrated when those setbacks happen. You just clean it up and you think, okay, well, today cooking was supposed to be slow, so this is just part of the process. By doing this practice, you're retraining your brain to stop treating slowness like it's a problem. It's a part of life. The second actionable step is to delete one social media app and replace it with something that will build you up. And notice I was very nice and I said delete one app, not all of them, because this is all about baby steps. But eventually, you're going to delete all of them. I know you will. I believe in you. So look at the social media app you waste the most time on. You already know what it is. I mean, I definitely knew mine. Instagram. And in that same spot, replace it with an app that is dopamine detox approved. These are things like the Kindle app, you can start reading books instead, a language app like Duolingo, a meditation app, podcasts, essentially anything that will give you long-term values and not that short 5-second rewards. So I replaced my Instagram app with the Kindle app. And it was very successful. But I will say the first day will feel very weird and uncomfortable. You're gonna go to your usual toilet breaks and be like, oh my God, what am I gonna do while I'm pooping? You'll find yourself opening up your phone to that same spot where that app was. And instead, what are you gonna find? You're gonna find the Kindle app and a constant reminder that you have this goal to read this book or learn that language or whatever your goal is. So I replaced a lot of my phone time with reading due to this exact hack. And no, not because I'm some superhuman person, no, but because I removed easy access to my distraction. So no, you don't need more discipline. You need a system that works for you. The last actionable step is to repeat this mantra. I'm going to do this slow. And yeah, you're probably going to feel silly at first, but before habits become automatic, your thoughts have to be intentional. So when you sit down to study, start a project, or work out, literally tell yourself in your brain, I'm going to do this slow. This is allowed to take time. And slow is not failure. So say this in your head or out loud. I mean, it's your life. Do what you want. It might sound silly, but that's how your brain wires new pathways. The more you repeat that thought and pair it with an action, the more natural it'll become. And over time, your default will shift from, I'm so behind, to I'm in this for the long game. So if there's one mindset that helped me to become a doctor at the age of 26, it's this. I was willing to go slow. I wasn't chasing hacks. I wasn't expecting overnight success. I picked one hard thing, accepted that it would take years to accomplish, and I showed up consistently. Imperfectly, but consistently. And to recap, if you want to do hard things, try these 3 actionable steps. Slow down one routine task you do every single day. Delete one distracting app off of your phone, or all of them if you're crazy like me. And every time you work at your goal, tell yourself, I am going to do this slow. Let me know in the comments what big goals you're working on and what your slow version of it will look like. And please, be as detailed as you want because I love reading. As you know, I replaced all my phone time with reading on my Kindle app. Also, feel free to comment on what you guys would like to see in future videos. So next week, I am sharing how to glow up after burnout. Slowly, of course. So if you're also in that season of life, then join me next week. If you like that video, please drop me a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the video next week. Whew. All right, those of you who stayed till the end of the video, I will give you a inside scoop about the creation of this content. This is actually the 3rd time I've sat down to film because I had a mishap with the lighting the first time. The second time, my camera died. And now the 3rd time, I am finally prepared to do this talking head video. See, I've been on YouTube for a year, guys. I still make mistakes. But see, that's why I'm sharing with you guys this mindset, because if I thought filming would be easy, I would not have stuck around for this long, let alone film this video. So, subscribe. No, I think subscribe is here. Yeah, subscribe, click on this playlist here. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's a wrap. Okay. Good job, everyone. Good job. Let's go eat something.